Okay, so I feel like I have gotten most of the places that I want glazed orange with at least one coat on there. Okay, so I'm rinsing my brush out in my jar, and then I'm going to dab it on that sponge, and I'm going to switch colors, and I'm going to start doing my red. And I just want to show you quickly the way you can do more than one color and think about it. So I've thought about everywhere I might want orange, even to the top of my nose, we can see that, and inside the ears. And so now I'm going to start glazing with the red color, and I want to just remind you something. Glaze, since it's an emulsion, every once in a while we kind of have to stir it up. So if it'll get thick on the top, I don't know if you can see that, but underneath it'll be nice and liquidy. So every once in a while you may have to take your brush and stir it up to get that so that it's all the right consistency. So if a color's been sitting there for quite a while and nobody's been using it, you're going to need to give it a little stir before you start to use it, okay? And then make sure you just wipe the extra glaze back on that cup. We're trying to not waste any of the glaze if we can help it, because we want to just be really careful with it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start applying my red glaze color, and remember, I would need to make sure that I have applied 3 coats of color on everywhere that I go, everywhere that I glaze, okay? So one thing I want to point out is that it's important that you also glaze the side of your mask. So don't forget to put glaze on the sides and the edges. We don't want to get it underneath anywhere where the table would touch, where it's going to touch the table, because that way, if there's glaze on those places, it would stick to the kiln shelf and break when we try to take it out. But I can still get it on the edge, and then before I put your projects in the kiln, I usually do check the bottom of your project to make sure that there's nothing that's going to stick to the kiln. So I'm going to go ahead and get that glaze coated. And I don't know if you noticed that while I was talking to you, I was adding a little tiny bit of water to my red glaze because it was just a little too thick. So if you have that problem, make sure you ask me, and I can help you know what to do to fix your glaze. But when I started glazing with this red glaze, it just really didn't want to spread at all. And so I just put a couple of drops of water in it. But the funny thing with glaze is a little too much water will be too much. So that's why I ask you to make sure you ask me so that I can help you do the glazing or adding more liquid to it without getting too much. Because too much makes it too runny, and then we don't get a nice good color for it. Okay, so as I turn this around now, you can hold your mask in your hands carefully if you need to be able to get to other places of it. You don't just have to set it flat on the table and leave it there. You can turn it around, you can pick it up in your hand, and so that you can get to all the places you need to apply the glaze. Now a lot of my mask, I'm going to be putting a red glaze around a lot of this mask. So I won't leave the video running for all of it, but I will just show you a few spots where I'm going to do it. And then remember, I'm going to go back and put, I'm going to put 3 coats anywhere I'm glazing any color. So I recommend doing all of the color you're going to use. I'm going to apply red everywhere I'm going to use red, and then I'm going to go back. So I'll give it all 1 coat, and then I can go back and give it 2 coats. And I'm also going to take a second because I got a little orange glaze where I don't want it, so I'm going to scrape that away. Because remember, glaze is different than paint. If I cover it up now, if I cover orange with red now and then fire it, that doesn't necessarily mean the orange won't show. Because when you put it in the kiln, things change with glaze. It's a chemical. It's not like paint, where what you see is what you get. With glaze, sometimes you get surprises when it comes out of the kiln. Okay, so I put red there, okay, and I'm going to put red all over a lot of places, and I'm also going to add a little black to my mask. So I'll keep glazing on that and show you the process. I'm going to put black inside these lines, and that would probably require me to get a little bit smaller brush and some red on the flames. And so we're going to have a lot of cool glazing going on this mask. So what's your job now as I finish up showing this to you, because it would take me quite a while to finish glazing this, just like it'll take you in class. So your job is going to be to listen and to the instructions given to you in class, and you're going to choose 3 colors of glaze, and you're going to take that and write the names of the glaze down on your thumbnail sketch for your mask. And I would even like you to maybe think about where you're going to apply it and how it's going to be on your mask itself, because that way you will have a plan. We like to practice our habits and really begin with the end in mind, so that it's just a faster process and we can use our art class time really well. So 3 colors of glaze. Do not ask the teacher that is with you tomorrow if you can do more than 3 colors, because I'm telling you, you can't. And you can save that question. If you have a super good reason, then you save that question and you'll tell me why you need more than 3 colors of glaze when I return, and see you the next time I'm in class with you, which will be next week. Okay? So hopefully this video's reminded you that you can have 3 colors of glaze, that glaze requires 3 even coats, not thick chunky coats, but 3 nice smooth coats, that it has to be dry in between coats. It doesn't equal a second coat if it's not dry. So this right here is still wet, where this is starting to be dry. And I know that because if this was really powdery and this is still darker in color and not as powdery. Glaze doesn't turn the color, its final color, until it's been put in the kiln. Okay, and so when we talk about coloring our masks, we say we're glazing and not painting. We call it glazing. So I hope you do a good job and choose your 3 colors of glaze and write down the names of the colors you're going to use, and follow the directions of the substitute teacher who's here with you today.